How much money generates enough dividends to live on? You wake up at 7 a.m., no alarm clock, you walk to the kitchen, you pour a cup of coffee, you stand by the window, your phone lights up, $52 was deposited into your account while you were sleeping. Not from a salary, not from a client, from ownership. You think about the version of yourself from 5 years ago, the one who relied on 3 cups of coffee just to survive the commute, the one who dreaded Sunday nights. The one who didn't think a morning like this was possible. You didn't win the lottery. You just reached a specific mathematical milestone, a number that covers your housing, your food, your transportation, the existence you used to pay for with your time. You start with $10,000. You are 24, you have been hoarding cash for 2 years, skipping the designer clothes, keeping your old laptop, eating leftovers on the weekends, $10,000 sitting in checking, losing value to inflation. Most people your age would use it as a down payment on a car they can't afford. You open a brokerage account instead. You buy a boring, broad market dividend fund, the kind of investment that makes day traders yawn, at a 4% yield. That $10 zero pays you $400 a year, $400, that covers your internet bill and your streaming subscriptions for 12 months. It is a tiny victory. You might feel the urge to dismiss it. Don't. This is the first money you have ever made that did not cost you your time. Every other dollar you possess was traded for hours of your life. This $400 materialized from nothing. You slept and it paid you anyway. A buddy sees your portfolio app at a coffee shop. He laughs. He tells you $400 a year is just a pair of shoes. You say nothing. You lock your phone. He spends his weekend blowing his paycheck on bottle service to impress strangers. You do something different. The next month, when the dividend arrives, you don't spend it. You hit reinvest. You watch your share count tick up by a fraction. You smile. Nobody else gets it. You aren't playing their game. You are 27. 3 years later, $50,000 sits in that exact same boring fund, most of it from aggressively saving your salary, the rest from dividends compounding quietly in the background. It now pays you $2,000 a year. $2,000. That is your water, trash, and electricity bills for the entire year, plus a weekend getaway. You sit on your couch on a Sunday and do the math. You realize a profound truth. Every time you turn on the TV, every time you take a hot shower, every time you flip a light switch, you aren't paying for it, your assets are. You keep this to yourself. A few weeks later, you are at a friend's wedding. The table is loud. An old classmate orders a round of drinks that costs more than your monthly dividend. He raises his glass and brags about his brand new luxury SUV. Everyone cheers. You sip your water. On the cab ride home, you look out the window. You don't mention his $1,000 monthly payment. You don't mention his crippling interest rate. You don't mention that your $50,000 is going to quietly hand you $2,000 this year, next year, and forever. You just sit back, and for the first time in your life, you feel a distinct sensation. You feel free. You are 3,100,000, 6 figures, the milestone you used to read about, the number society tells you is the benchmark of success. It pays you $4,000 a year. 4,000. A full year of groceries for a single person, 12 months of produce, meat, and pantry staples paid for by money that you did not sweat for. You walk through the grocery store on a Sunday afternoon. You look at your cart and realize someone else is footing the bill. A friend texts you later that evening. He says he found a massive opportunity, a crypto staking pool yielding 15% a month. He tells you that your 4% is a joke. He says you could double your money by Christmas. You open the chart. The yield is sky high, but the underlying asset is bleeding out. It is a yield trap. They are paying him with his own declining capital. You close the chart. You warn him. He sends a laughing emoji and sinks $10,000 into it. 6 months later, the project collapses. The yield goes to zero. He stops talking about investing. You hold your boring fund. You keep collecting your $4,000. Keep walking through the grocery store on Sundays. The lesson at 6 figures is absolute. If the yield looks like a shortcut, it is a cliff. The boring 4% will survive every flashy trend. You are 33, $250,000. The amount nobody in your social circle suspects you have. It pays you $10,000 a year, $10,000 your car insurance, your fuel, your basic transportation costs for the entire year. Every mile you drive is funded by the market. You are sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic on a Wednesday morning. The guy in the lane over is gripping his steering wheel, visibly furious. He is driving a brand new Porsche. You look at him. He is entirely consumed by stress. You drive a reliable 7-year-old sedan that you paid off 4 years ago. Your car demands nothing from you. His car demands $200 a month for the next 5 years. That evening you check your portfolio. The balance is larger than the previous month. It is always larger. You suddenly understand the old saying, wealth is what you don't see. At $250,000, the math is no longer just a concept. It is a physical shield protecting your life. Most people your age are drowning in auto debt. You own a machine that buys your miles for you. You pull into your driveway. You turn off the engine and just sit in the quiet for a moment. You are no longer rushing. You are 36. $500,000. The milestone that fundamentally alters how you sleep at night. It pays you $20,000 a year, 20,000. That is a baseline. That is a paid-off roof over your head and food in your fridge. This is the financial floor. At $500,000, if you lost your income tomorrow, you would not be rich, but you would not be ruined. You realize this on a Thursday afternoon when a demanding client asks you to scrap a week's worth of work and start over by Monday. You used to panic and say yes instantly. This time you pause, you feel a strange new emotion, you feel leverage, you agree to do it, but on a revised reasonable timeline you log off at 5. You think about the 24-year-old version of you. The one who got mocked for making $400 a year. That same person who mocked you is still trapped in the exact same cycle. So stressed about credit card bills and living paycheck to paycheck. You eat dinner, you go to sleep early. $500,000 doesn't buy you private jets. It buys you the most powerful word in the human dictionary. No, you are 39. $1 million. Your house is the same, your wardrobe is the same, your daily routine is the same. But the math has crossed a threshold. It pays you $40,000 a year, 40,000, an entire median salary completely replaced. You sit at your desk on a quiet evening and pull up a tax bracket calculator. You input $40, zero of qualified dividends for a single filer. You hit calculate. The estimated tax is zero. You stare at the screen. People trading their time for a $40,000 salary lose a massive chunk of it to income taxes before they even see the money. You get to keep every single cent. You lean back in your chair. You don't pop champagne. You just breathe out. You think about the thousands of hours you spent grinding for taxable income. This $40,000 is different. This money is entirely yours. The next day, you sit in a company-wide meeting about pushing harder for Q4. You nod, you take notes. Nobody in that room knows. Nobody knows you could stand up, walk out the door, and your standard of living would not dip a single percent. $1 million doesn't buy status. $1 million buys absolute silence, the silence of knowing you no longer need anyone's permission to simply exist. You are 42. $1.5 million. It pays you $60,000 a year, 60,000. More than the average American spends in retirement, generated annually without ever having to sell a single share. The principal remains completely untouched, continuing to grow. The dividends keep flowing. You read a financial news article claiming people are terrified they will never be able to retire. You close the laptop, you look out your window at the morning rush hour, people sprinting to catch trains, aggressively cutting each other off in traffic, terrified of being late. You used to be right there with them. You think back to the kid with $10,000 who decided to hit the reinvest button instead of buying a watch. That tiny decision compounded. The system worked exactly as it was designed to. You open your email, you draft a short, polite message to your boss, you give your notice, you hit send, your heart doesn't race, your hands don't shake, you just feel a deep, settling calm. The exact same calm you felt when that first $400 dividend hit your account 18 years ago. You didn't get lucky, you just made a choice to be patient while everyone else demanded it now. You taught your money how to work, so you would never have to again.